Good evening, everyone. Special meeting of the St. Paul City Council. Will you please call the roll?
Council President Obasta,
Present.
Councilman Kazarian,
Present.
Councilman Solano,
Present.
Councilman Figueroa,
Present.
Councilwoman Mayana,
Present.
Councilwoman Rosado Martinez, absent. Council President Perry.
Present.
Mr. President, we have quorum.
Thank you. Please rise for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. Without exception, I'd like to make one minor change. We're going to flip-flop the DCW with the road department, simply because Matt's a nice guy, and because he's gonna be here the rest of the evening anyway. So with that, Dean, thank you.
Good evening, council members. As usual, I'm here and I'm here to take any of your questions or concern that you may have in reference to what we do at DPW and code enforcement.
Start with Megan.
I'm all set, thank you.
Kevin?
I'm all set right now.
Yes, first question that I have is, you spent $9,300 for $9,000 last year for winter.
With the road supplies?
Yeah. So what will happen with the leftover?
Well, I mean, of course, the reason that we had a short, we spent less than we did in previous years is because of the mild winter we had. So I'm assuming that, I think Mary probably answered this better than I would, that fund would go back to the general fund, I'm assuming.
Well, I think it also offsets some of the line items where you can see where he's gone over. So the goal is to hit his budget for the department, but on such things as repairs, he's gone over. So as a whole, anything gets out, goes to the overspend.
How many employees in your department?
So we have 8 DPW employees, and then we have 4 people in the office. We have a clerk, an environmental, a housing individual. So plus myself and my deputies, that's 5.
So the salary increase that you have in your budget right here is $53,458 for the all employees. Do your department get a 2% increase, or is that's different way you increase it?
So his union employees are Council 94, so they get the contractual increase in that. I believe that's 2%.
Yes, 2%.
And then the non-union employees got 2.5%. Just like the other departments.
So I'm sure that somebody else will ask questions.
Thank you.
Director Barrows, one question I have was around capital expenditures. Looks like we had budgeted for that in the past, and now we budgeted $130,000. Talk a little bit more about that.
Well, I think a part of in the past, we haven't had a capital budget per se, and consequently, that's the reason why we're in the predicament we're in terms of our fleet is pretty old. So I think this year, through Mary and the mayor, they've decided to actually put some funds in that category for future capital improvement.
Thank you. Are we still doing the one question on the president? Okay. The other question I had was around, so the total increase in the budget from last year to this coming year, from this year to this coming year is about $260,000. Most of it has to do with the capital expenditures, and then some of it has to do with salaries. Councilman Solano asked about some salaries. I had a question about, where is it? one of the salary line items, which was the building inspector. Right now, I believe you have 2 part-time positions.
We actually, so we have a building inspector, we have a plumbing inspector, we have an electrical inspector.
Okay, so in the salary, ordinance, it says that there's a increase for the building inspectors, with in parentheses, it says 2 part-time positions. This budget year, so FY '23 was 24,287, and then for next year, it'll be 976. So my question was just like, were we gonna add one more person? Cause it's kind of like similar to the salary of one currently, or is that just like the increase? And so that's on page 25, Mary.
So we was, with, the current building inspector is at $12,000 a year. And then the subsequent electrical and plumbing inspectors are at 5 or 5,300.
Yep.
So I don't, if that number has changed, I'm not aware.
Give me a minute.
No worries, it's the second to last, line.
Line item, I see it, yep. Can we go back to that?
Yeah, no worries.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
Oh, and then my last question was around, your goal for increasing recycling rates and reducing the number of rejected loads at the landfill. Just curious, like, are people now, like, I guess, since it's a goal, I'm assuming you got a lot of rejections at the landfill, like, people now recycling correctly?
Well, over the years, yeah, I think, with our fines and our constant vigilance, I think folks, and because I'm sure people call you and everybody, and I think through that process, or through those processes, you've been able to actually, and through our negotiation with Megler Disposal, sort of kind of forcing their hands a little bit to do some more of those proactive things that would, alleviate people improperly recycling by, number one, not taking a bin if there is, garbage in it. So those, in combination of those 3 things, we've been able to actually lower our rejected load rate.
Thank you, Alberto.
Yes, thank you for
Just got a question though. It's a private company when you have, for example, the 3 that we talked about. Is the outside company is the one that's doing that?
Yes, it's definitely an outside company. I mean, obviously, we don't have the manpower to do, either that or we'll be there all day, but, yes, just like we do with our vehicle repairs and maintenance and things like that, it's all it's outside people.
I'll pass it, I'll wrap it up. Franklin?
Yeah, I did have a couple of questions that Councilwoman Minor already asked, answered and have been answered, so thank you so much for that. And then I just have another question, and I don't know if you asked, I didn't pay attention to that one. Between the solid removal and the trash removal recycling, we got almost $82,000 in the budget, for last year, for the solid waste removal and the trash removal recycling.
Oh, you mean the difference?
We got $82,000. I mean, it's only $2 shy to $82,000 in that budget for the.
Which line item are we?
It's on page 23 on top.
Okay. So are we talking about the differences between the different years?
Yeah, it's $82,000 more this year. I don't know if that will be because there's more people in the city or if they increase the prices for the removal. Just
Correct. And I think it's an adjusted rate. And then at the Rhode Island Resource Recovery, next year the rate is going to be $4.50 higher per ton than it is this year. And in 2 years after that, it's going to be 60. Maybe another $6 or $4, another $4. Yeah. So that's probably why you see some of the changes in there.
Okay, so Besides that, I just want to say that I've received a lot of calls from constituents complaining about different situations. And most of the time, most of those calls are related to your department. And I wanted to thank you because every time I call you to your department, you always answer it and help us to resolve the issue with the constituents. Thank you so much.
Thank you. That's our job.
Yes, thank you, Council President. To go on to Council Franklin's almost question to piggyback that, are the fees, so when a load gets rejected because of it's a mix of recycling and other things, are those fees that, we absorb those fees here?
Correct.
And that's included in this number or an estimate of it?
No, that's above and beyond that.
Okay.
So,
Do you have, if you know offhand, has the recycling been better or is it kind of stable?
well, I think it's been a little bit better. I think, through the city solicitor's office and myself talking to our contractor, trying to make them more, to hold them more accountable to at least have their people do a more diligent processing when they pick up, especially recycling. We don't care how they pick up trash. But so long as that when they look into the trash, into the recycling, if they see things that are not, don't take it, just leave it there. That's punishment enough for that individual because he or she will have to contend with having that for another week.
I have seen that happen, so people have to be aware because they have to pay the price for that, because I know the city have to absorb those costs if we let it go. I'm sorry about that.
No, that's great, that's great. The other follow-up, I guess, is that do you get a lot of calls from residents complaining about their trash not being picked up and they don't know why?
Well, not so much the trash, but the recycling, yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
I think now we're doing a much better job because we're putting these oops stickers on
Right.
the recycling, not we, but they certainly through our communication with the disposal company, they're able to, if they, instead of picking up, just put an oops sticker on there, which indicate that something is wrong with the bin.
Thank you.
Just on the same regard, oh, I'm sorry.
I'm all set, thank you.
Thank you.
So on the same regard, I would like just to ask you a question about, because I have seen the Woods orange tag in there, that being a company with $2,050 fine, which I understand, but why don't we, for the first time, give them an advice or the notice instead of giving a ticket right away? Because sometimes that happens to some house because somebody passed by and throw something in there, or maybe somebody mixed them in. So at least to give them a warning for the first time instead of the fine.
So I think we get that question a lot.
Yeah.
We get, again, these are from people who are repeat offenders anyway. So the issue is this. So since we started this process, when we first started the recycling process, we sort of sent out all this notice and we put all these tags on the bins, if you guys remember originally. So there was a lot of tags and there was no fine that accompanied the tag. It just basically you're hoping that through this process we were educating folks as to how, what doesn't belong in the bin. So after that period, we went into, if this is your first offense, we will put it aside. And so that process has come and gone, and that's probably why we find ourselves, and I would venture to say that 90% of the people that, that could be asking if this is the first time, it isn't their first time. It's probably there, in the folder, it tells you how many times this person has had a ticket.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. But I think we do make special dispensation, and we have voided ticket for folks that.
I know you do. You're very reasonable when the people go or try to, reach out and find out that you are reasonable with them. Thank you so much.
No, I know we have a benefit, we wanna make sure we recycle, that's the right thing to do. But, is there any other benefits we have when we have recycling?
Yeah, I think when the commodity market was good, we used to get a rebate. We haven't really hadn't gotten a rebate in some time, because again, of course, the commodity market hasn't been that good. But as things improve, we will. I think this year we got $934 or something in rebate. But I think the good part, the other good side of this is that instead of that stuff going into the landfill, it's actually being recycled. So that's a great thing. And then we're not paying that 54 or that 58 or that 60 some odd dollar price.
Oh, yeah, I have one more thing. So we have a couple things that we haven't spent anything through March. We just had some questions around that, so like the clothing and tool allowance. There, like, is it because we're buying them from other funds, or is it like at least through March?
Yeah, no, I thought the clothing allowance was, we give out the clothing allowance. I mean, it comes in, Mary, I think it's.
Yeah, I mean, I think the clothing allowance is just timing when people need it and request it. I think the budget was just 2,800, so I think that's just timing.
Okay. And same with the traffic signal R&M?
Yes, and I think that he has something, yes, yeah.
Yeah, well, I think what she was referring to originally in the comments about what happens to the money that we don't, and those line items, you know, of course, if you look at the budget, we do spend a lot of money on other stuff.
So something needs to be cut.
So we could use that money to go for that. So.
No problem, thank you.
Okay, yep, anything else? I thank you for being here. I'll kind of wrap it up. I know most budgets are tight, so, I agree with your budget. And I think things are looking good. I think the city is clean. I think my parks and rec, which is coming up also, is doing a great job. And, me personally, I'm happy with the budget and keep up the good work.
Thank you. It's a collaborative effort. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Next item on the agenda is Human Resource Department. We have Dr. Ana Ureña here.
Hello, good evening,
Good
everyone.
evening. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing today?
Thank you for being here.
Thank you all for being here. So the Human Resources Department budget is fairly small. As far as our goals and objectives go, all of the ones that we had for this past year, we were able to achieve, and or continue to achieve. One of the biggest changes that you will see in my budget, however, is the salary line. So I wanted to explain that to you all. The salary line has been impacted because my salary is now classified under other professional services as an independent contractor. So I wanted to clarify that in case they confuse anybody in the budget. Aside from that, you'll see the city's Medicare cost. You'll see dental deductions. You'll see workers' comp. Those numbers and line items apply to the city as a whole, not to the Human Resources Department, in case you guys didn't know. Other than that, we have the education and training, which HR uses for professional development. We have recruitment, which increased significantly this past year from where it was before then. Prior to that, HR didn't have a recruitment budget. So that budget has been used to contract vendors that will create the content that we need for recruitment and public safety and for those efforts. We also have employee events and team building. That's an area in which we are going to spend more time in the coming months. This past year, we weren't able to spend too much time doing some of the things that we wanted to do, such as hosting a director's retreat, largely because of competing interests and time. Besides that, we have the testing, which is for police and fire promotional testing and onboarding testing. And that wraps up my budget for the most part. Does anybody have any questions?
Councilwoman
I'm all set, thank you.
Councilman Kazarian?
Hi, just one question. Is your office full-time, part-time, your position?
My office is part-time. My position is part-time, yes.
Okay, thank you. Let me know that,
I'm sorry, I should have mentioned that in the beginning when I was explaining the change in salary
Thank you.
line. We went from full-time to part-time. We're sharing services with North Providence, but it's been working out really well so far. I don't want to speak to my own work, but I would say that we've been able to maintain the same level of productivity.
Okay, thank you.
Councilman Swan?
I'm good, thanks, thank you.
Dr. Udena, you said the biggest change would be in the salary line because you are because you are like a vendor, if you will?
Yes, so I was previously an employee that shifted over to independent contractor.
And that's the word.
Yes.
Cool, and then the other question I had was, something I had at Zuri when she was presenting, which was around, like if there is, any evaluation of employees, so like, for example, when we talk about salary increases and stuff like that, like, is there a process for evaluating an employee's performance, if we can, I get an annual review, for example?
Yes, so the Human Resources Department has drafted the procedure and the templates that should be used to perform performance evaluations. As it is right now, directors are encouraged to conduct them with their employees on a periodic basis. I know that some departments do and others do not. It works out better that way because I wouldn't, for example, be able to give a performance review to somebody that's in DPW because I'm not exactly sure what they do on a day-to-day basis. There are also contractual considerations behind the performance review process, such as our CBAs and what they stipulate regarding that. In addition, as far as when you consider a salary increase, I think that the most important consideration that we take into account right now is the employee's history of disciplinary history. So absent that and absent discontent with performance, we have those conversations on a case-by-case basis. Any other questions?
No, good.
I'll start, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is the law department. We have Solicitor Matt Johnson.
There you go. Parks and Rec can go ahead. You're gonna be here anyway.
I guess we're talking about
Parks and
Parks and
Sounds like a
Rec.
plan.
Alberto?
Solicitor yielded his time. Now.
Hello, good evening, Council President Ferry and the council members. Thank you for being here tonight. In the Power Recreation Department and Community Service Department budget, you can see the most important point of our work broken down. Our goal this year is keep developing the three main areas of our department. In part, we will complete the renovation and construction, including the Park, Garfield, Playground, Park Complex, and the tennis court. and more. We are continuing the effort of improving the safety and maintenance of our parks, such adding the security camera in the park to ensure our community is safe. In recreation, we have Perfect Youth Opportunity, like our new youth career empowerment summer program, and we have included our recreational offers, include the Saturday night, 4th of July celebration, food truck fest, car show, and more. In addition to the agreement, we already have the diversity of sport, including baseball, soccer, football, track, wrestling, basketball, teams in our city. In the community area, we continue to expand our community resources, like summer food service program, Thanksgiving drive, Christmas toy drive, and more. In addition to our new citywide after-group program coordinator, that's funded by RIDE, to continue the effort. A new program for citywide elderly residents in partnership with YMCA to continue prioritizing our constituent. Also, I want to include, I want to say thank you to my Deputy Director, Mavi Pineda, and my Park and Recreation team, because it's small, but it's incredible. Thank you for your commitment and your love for to our city of Central Falls. And thank you, city members, and open to question.
I had one question around other professional services. It has like / basketball program. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, this line item is created for a pay the cost of the summer basketball league. in the
Summer
city.
basketball league? Okay, so it's not a standalone thing, it's like
Yes.
it's a city program.
Yes,
Oh,
in the city program, in conjunction with the volunteers and the JPC bankers, money to working together. And we pay for many other things. We pay for the police department. We pay for the coaches, for the workers.
Okay,
Mhm.
thank you.
How much summer help will you be hiring this year?
For the summer program,
Yeah.
yeah, 10 position.
Question I have for Alan, Franklin?
Oh, okay. Hi, how are you?
Good.
Here is a dream team, Mavi and Alberto. You guys working hard and then try to maintain the city and the park and the people busy and elderly having fun. It was a very great event of the La Noche Bohemia, right?
Yeah, Bohemian Night.
What's next? When's gonna be the next one?
It's in August.
August. And when's gonna be the salsa night?
The first one is June 30 and the second one is August 25.
Okay. People wait for that and have fun, a lot of
Yeah.
fun.
They continue
So-
very excited about that.
Yeah. So, we have something to remark here. Okay, the street beautification workers.
Yes.
When you say street beautification worker, in that budget you have there, 39,246. Is that the salary or that's
The 39,000?
street beautification
Yes.
workers? It's on page 16.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the budget you have in there is for the salary of
Yes.
those
For
workers?
them, yes.
That's it. That's pretty good budget. Taking in consideration that so many things that you do with that budget. So that's
Hello, sir. Just a question about, the general R and M. That seems to be pretty consistent. Is that kind of something that is, maybe Mary would know too, is that something that's pretty consistent year through year? And how do you estimate that cost?
Yes, we estimate this cost for the, for the maintenance we pay, for example, for maintaining the grass, for the chemical we use it, for the portable bathrooms, for the all equipment we use for prepare the fish for the seasons or this stuff.
Okay, that's all right.
Of course, always something broke to have in mind, but always we try to figure it out how we can use the budget.
I think that was the only thing I had for you. Thank you very much for all you did with the company as well.
This is my pleasure, thank you.
I don't have any questions. I'm gonna mirror Franklin and Kevin. You guys do a really good job. I've been in the city my whole life, and I think when you took the position with Mavi's assistance, there's more activities going on for all 8 groups than I've seen in a long time. And you guys cover everything, and I see you guys on social media. If I'm not able to be there, I follow it, and the community definitely appreciates it. There's a lot going on.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Yeah, I agree. 100%. I think you guys do an excellent job. Just keep it up. Really, I think one of the things Frank like a lot is salsa. I know that.
I like it.
But you know, I think so.
I'm not a good dancer, but I like it.
Anyway, but I think he's definitely doing it.
He's an instructor.
Well, what cooking, man. But next time he's gonna be doing something.
I go and work. We had the salsa links on that night.
Yeah, but I didn't mention salsa night because I am a good dancer also. I mentioned it because I like to see the people having fun.
No, you're right.
And it's a great night and people have fun.
So I agree with that.
Beside that, I'm a good dancer.
It's my time now.
Stop beside that.
So I agree with that. Thank you, though. You're doing an excellent job. You guys do an excellent job. Thank you.
I had a question about the miscellaneous summer food program line in the audited FY 22, it's just a 1 in parentheses. That may be a typo.
What line are you on? You're on page 16, right?
Page 16, the last line. Where is the FY 22?
Last year, I think they were gonna running for
Yeah, I think
COVID.
it was a rounding issue for a
Oh,
dollar.
okay. And then a follow-up to that was, we had budgeted last year 46,800, and this year we're budgeting lower. Is that because like we're offsetting the cost of something else, or because we're hiring less people?
Or it was a budgeting error last year.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay. Perfect. I just wanted to ask them around their goals, if no one. The question I had was, I saw that you're transitioning into a new recreation software. That makes me really excited. So I just wondered if there was a time frame for that, or like.
Yes,
Yeah.
we're working on that. The goal is join this program no more later or winter.
The winter, okay. And then, really excited about the after-school program coordinator. So just wondering if, like how it's been going, if there's been any challenges, if like, there's, like what has been able to be accomplished with the after-school coordinator?
Yeah, absolutely. When she started the last week of December with us here in the office, she started meeting with the all, school district, the charter school, and she working and put everything together with the schools, and we can start promote all these programs that the school have it. Also, she started working many programs directly with Park and Recreation. For example, she started working for the kayak program. We start new program I mentioned in my message for the youth empowerment career. Also, she started running one program with the school district for the all citywide youth for the school department. And also we added a one continued youth empowerment program every 3 months in the city here. So I tried to add it in my budget. She working many programs together with us and the school department. For the goal is many more projects and many more activities for the youth.
Perfect. I love after-school programs, so that's the only reason I asked. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
The only question how many, we have 2 beautification.
Yes.
Yeah, they do a good job, I see them out there. So, I have no further questions, I don't think.
Oh, wait,
any-
I have one more, I'm sorry. The diversity group. What is that?
This is something I have something in mind for more doings in the city, working more advertisement and something for the working directly with the restaurant and the small business for creating some new idea.
Yeah.
I'm working on that, just putting there because I want to release this no more later next summer, come later.
Yeah, cool, thank you. Yeah, I was like, that sounds cool.
Yes.
I just don't know what it is.
You heard
Thank you.
more details soon.
Cool, thank you.
You all set?
Good?
Yes,
Thank
please.
you. Great job.
Thank you, it's my pleasure. Have a great evening.
Thank you.
Enjoy the evening.
Next item on the agenda is the law department. Solicitor Tom, Matt Jersey.
Mr. President, do you want me to go to the microphone?
Yeah.
Yes.
You're being graded on, public speaking.
Good evening, Mr. President, members of the council. The law department is proud to be here today. We continue to try to be a scrappy and aggressive law department and one of the most affordable municipal law departments in Rhode Island. We don't see the Central Falls Law Department as the typical blocking and tackling of city lawyers in terms of just doing city contracts, attending city council meetings, and writing laws. We are actively out in the community trying to make a positive change for good, so that the people see that the law can make an actual difference in their lives. And I'll give you a couple quick examples. One, we were part of the federal litigation to take on the opioid industry for the impact on the lives of so many Rhode Islanders and Central Falls residents who have become addicted to opioids or perhaps even overdosed or died. At one point, CF had the highest number of overdose deaths per capita in the nation. In addition, we've been involved in lawsuits in support of the DACA students, otherwise known as Dreamers, to ensure that immigrant students can stay in this country. And then on a more local level, we have been involved with acquiring properties to meet the mayor's goal of creating over 200 units of housing in the city in the next few years. So for example, the Dunkin' Donuts property right here, the old police station over there. We've had more than a dozen properties go through the receivership program in the last 18 months alone with the explicit goal of renovating those properties, increasing the quality of life, and specifically building housing for those who need housing in the city. In addition to that, I've been serving on the school building committee since Mayor Rivera was elected, and it's not typical for a city lawyer to be involved in school construction other than reviewing contracts, but it's been a complicated ride, as many of you know, to get a new high school built in the city. We've been working on it for nearly 10 years now, and we're getting close to the finish line. The hope is to have students walk into that building in the fall of 2025. But to do that, we had to pass one state law. We're trying to pass another state law this year to get a little bit more funding. And we've had to navigate a complex relationship with our school district, the Rhode Island Department of Education, and the State House to do that. But it's not just about a new high school, it's about transforming the whole education system, at least on the facility side. I'll leave what happens inside the facility to the experts, but on the facility side, we've also been able to raise over $180 million. So enough for the new high school, but also enough to build a new pre-K to 8 where the old high school currently is, as well as $20 million of renovations to Calcut, that's an Elarisk as well. So housing, school construction, and then the third piece is the rebuilding of the city's community center known as El Centro, between writing grants, reviewing contracts, and thinking strategically how we can target services such as domestic violence at that building. We're really just providing as needed resources for the mayor's office as well as the office on health and constituent services. Those I think are like three big ways in which we're directly helping move the mayor and the council's agenda so that residents can see a difference in their quality of life. But we also have two programs that are very unique to Central Falls, and I think we're all very proud that people talk about it as the Central Falls model. We have a nuisance task force that brings each department to the table to solve problems. And depending on what house it is and what commercial building it is, we've come up with the help of the council, we've rewritten laws and come up with strategies to combat a nuisance property. So for example, one of the more recent nuisances we've been hearing about is violations of the noise ordinance. So we're gonna start thinking strategically about how we can be a little more effective about that. And then just 2 years ago, we created a lead poisoning prevention program after we realized that COVID caused 50% increase in the number of kids in Central Falls that were poisoned by lead, and became the first municipality in all of Rhode Island to start sending notices of violation to the property owners that don't have a lead certificate, which then catalyzed the Attorney General's office to take our model and circulate it to other communities, which has been great. And we're actually going to be presenting on this Central Falls model at the International Municipal Lawyers Association to tell departments across the country and the world about how we're trying to keep kids safe from lead poisoning. And then just to wrap things up, we do have a process for vetting and signing city contracts. In this budget, we're going to try to digitize that and move to a DocuSign model. We're also looking to digitize our response to public records requests. We are getting inundated on a level we've never seen before with records requests. We're looking to put that online so that it lives in the cloud and any resident can see every request that comes in. We have a robust internship program. In fact, one of our interns is here, Josh Magnone from the law school. We've had 7 interns in the law department this year, and we want to keep going. We think that having experience here in City Hall is a transformative experience. It also really helps us. You know, we have a lot of work to do, and we give our interns real projects. We had an intern this year, for example, that the mayor mentioned in her address, Logan Torres. He wrote our climate action plan for the city. So we love our interns, and we love to keep growing the program. And we also defend the city in litigation. We're still in litigation with the Wyatt Detention Center. We are still fighting the good fight for Western Oil's attempted expansion. Councilor Figueroa, you know a little something about that. We are in round 2 of tackling Western Oil's litigation there. And then finally, our office serves at the pleasure of the City Council. It's been a great pleasure to work with you guys this session. So with that, I'll take any questions.
Thank you. Megan?
I'm all set, thank you.
No question, just a couple comments about the nuisance task force. I'm new on that, and I've already seen so much work that you folks are putting into that. And to top that, also with the lead prevention program. 2 great things that are happening, and I'm really excited about that. And I don't know how you guys do it all. it's you know, but that's really special that you're being recognized here with that program. That's amazing what you have.
Thank you, Councilman.
We doing.
Appreciate you being on the task force.
Thank you. Other than that, no questions about the budget. Thank you, Councilman.
So, Mr. Jersey, thank you so much for your presentations and for the great job you've been doing in the city throughout many things that you've been doing. You were even involved in the Earth Day. You come even to help us to thank the city, and besides all taking care of the business with legals and things like that, which is a lot that we have to face, and thank for your job that you've been doing with minimizing impact of some legal issues that happen in the city with people. So thank you so much. And that's all I have to say. Thank you, guys.
I only have one question. If you look at it, page 13, as you know, we get Social Security and all that. There's all in blank. There's nothing in there. What is that?
Yeah, so Director Urania from HR stole the only employee that I had in my department. So we're still friends.
We collaborate around here, okay?
I will say, just because I have the microphone, that I've worked with the HR department for nearly 10 years, and we haven't seen the type of transformative work that Anna's been doing in that office. And it's just, from a lawyer's perspective, having to deal with grievances and HR issues, it's a great honor to work with her and have her professionalism, notwithstanding the fact that she stole my only employee. That is Lisa Diaz, and she was a joint HR legal clerk, but she lived in my budget. She's now moved full-time into the HR budget, and because she was the only employee, those dash marks went to 0. All the lawyers in the city are contractors, so we are not employees, and we have contracts with the city.
Thank you.
The other question I had was, does judiciary live under legal?
It doesn't technically live under legal, but I have historically answered any questions about that section of the budget, or Mary could.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, questions?
it was more of a comment, just because I see that we are getting a court interpreter, which is great.
Yes.
And also wanted to low-key advocate for a council interpreter at some point, if we could consider that. You know, it's great that most of us, well, 3 of us are bilingual and can help translate. But I think having an independent person to do that for the residents would be really helpful. So that was just more of a comment than anything. But I'm glad to see that we're getting that court interpreter. Thank you for that.
Yes, absolutely, Councilman. It's been an ongoing issue that actually former Judge Ortiz, who's now a family court judge, Elizabeth Ortiz, she recommended it, funded it, and then COVID hit, and then got put on pause. But if the council decides to fund that line item, I think we're all excited to see how we do it, what organizations we partner with to do it, and how successful it is.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time now, and keep up the good work.
Thank you, Mr. President.
The next item on the agenda is adjournment.
Before we adjourn, I just want to mention a couple of things. Don't forget Memorial Day event, Monday at 9 o'clock at the park. And we're working on to see about the parade, if we're gonna be walking, how many, etc. And other than that, our next meeting is Monday, which will be, June 6th, which will be a public hearing on the budget. So again, thank you. Hope to see everybody Monday at 9 a.m. And with that, the adjournment.
I'll make a motion. I'll second
Councilman Solano for the second time. All those in favor signify by saying aye. 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 We stand adjourned at
I'm a female and I have
How do you
No, yeah, short.
Thank you so much.
This is my first go around, Good to see you. Good. It's started week 2.